Fun. Gaming is fun and we're all having fun playing Genshin Impact. Right? Right? And with the way that Genshin Impact is developed, it targets a large audience from people who love the combat to people who enjoy the exploring aspect and collecting all the chests. But sometimes Genshin Impact updates are slow and you might feel a little bored of Genshin. And that is why I'm here today to give you 5 tips to maybe have some new fun in Genshin Impact. The first step is to try and enjoy some new community made or arbitrary content, for instance Abyss speedruns. Abyss speedruns can be regarded as incredibly pay to win, as you need quite a lot of C6 characters to compete with the big shots who have incredibly fast speedruns, where they clear floor 12 in a couple of seconds. But you can also do an Abyss speedrun against maybe one of your friends or someone on your friend list and compare your times to them. If you're close in AR, for instance you're both AR 56, you can maybe challenge them to an Abyss speedrun. If your accounts are at a similar progress level, it should make for an interesting challenge, and maybe you can even improve your gameplay a little bit through competing with one of your friends. There's a lot of community content and arbitrary gameplay out there. I think you can explore a lot of ways like speedrunning or having challenges like a Serendia teapot building contest where you can create a lot of new content without needing any patches from MiHoYo. Another tip to get more immersed into Genshin Impact and maybe have an additional bit of fun is to enjoy the entire Genshin Impact atmosphere. MiHoYo releases things like webcomics, which you can read on their website to get a little bit more insight into a character's story. Another thing that you can enjoy from the Genshin atmosphere is all the cosplaying and the fan art, or maybe joining a mains community on Reddit, where you can talk about the game with people who have a like-minded mindset. In general, I think that surrounding yourself with people who also enjoy the same thing as you can create some interesting conversation and maybe you will have a little bit more fun. And the third tip to prevent burnout and have some fun is to try and incentivize yourself to have more variety in your gameplay. Everybody loves to use their trusty old team that works everywhere in both the open world and the abyss, but using the same team at all forms of content can cause you to get bored of it really fast. Now it is quite difficult to build characters in Genshin Impact, so it might be hard to use a large variety of teams in content like Abyss, Floor 12. But for the overworld I would definitely recommend to use some wacky team comps, to try and shake up your gameplay a little bit while doing commissions or story quests. For instance, using a character like Beidou, even though she is not extremely meta and only fits into certain teams, can be a ton of fun simply because you start thinking about when you can counter the enemy, and this adds another layer to your gameplay. So in short, I would recommend you to try and use all the characters inside of your roster at least once, and see what kind of flavors you would like and make different teams just on preference and not exactly on how strong they are, just to have fun in the open world or maybe on some easier events. Because all you need to get a good scope of a character is like level 60 and 70 and maybe talent level 4, 5 or 6 to just get a bit of an idea of how they play and have some fun. For tip number 4 I am going to throw the classic Genshin Impact is not a race but a marathon at you. But I think this sentence holds quite a bit of value, as with the current way that Genshin Impact is designed, it simply occasionally just has some downtime when there's no events and there's no new content and you have to wait 2 or 3 weeks for the new patch. And at these moments, if you feel yourself burning out and Genshin Impact is more of a chore than a fun activity, I would recommend you to either go to tip 3 where you shake up your gameplay so that you experience the game a little bit different, or just take it easy. Don't worry too much about the Primo Gems and the pools, as characters will definitely have reruns in the future. And just play the game on a phase where you feel like that every minute you spend on Genshin Impact is a minute that you had fun, and don't feel like you're doing some sort of job, as the purpose of Genshin Impact in the end of the day is to amuse you and make you feel relaxed from all the things going on in your life. So in short, take it easy. Maybe if you feel really burnt out, give the game a month of a break so that when you come back there's a lot of new content, and don't worry too much about keeping up with the current meta and the characters, as they will always be rerun. And the last tip is the good old waifu is better than meta. Characters is what makes Genshin Impact fun and interesting, as the system with elemental reactions and swapping to a roster of 4 characters is just incredibly innovative and a ton of fun to play with. So if you see an upcoming banner for a character that you really like the design or the gameplay of, but people are telling you, no, don't pull for this character because they are not meta, like Yoimiya, who was considered quite bad on release, but you want the character, don't even think a second about not pulling, as it's much more important to get a character whose design you like, personality from the in-game story you find interesting, or gameplay you find appealing, as that is what will keep you engaged in Genshin Impact. You don't have to play Ganyu with the charge shot meta simply because it's extremely good. But if you like shooting enemies from a long range with a big splash from a single hard hitting shot, then you should 100% go for Ganyu. So pick the characters that you like, not the characters that are good. And those were the tips that I really want to share with you about how I think you can prevent burnout and maybe have some extra fun in Genshin Impact. I really appreciate that you watched this video all the way to the end to get to this voice clip, as I'm a small new channel and your view matters a ton to me. If you really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and liking, and I'll see you later.